Now, let's create the Order Lines task. In the Navigator pane, you can see the task tree while the task is open. This provides a simple visual representation of the task hierarchy. Right now, our tree has only one node. We'll add a child task by selecting Create Line. Now, we can use Generate Program to give us a quick start in building the task. Generate Program is useful to create new programs, but it can also be used to create tasks for existing programs. To do this, we make sure we are standing on the subtask we just created, so we don't overlay our original program, and select Options Generate Program. We select Option Browse and select Order Lines as the main source. However, this time we will select the Line Style display. This will create a window that displays multiple records in table format rather than one record at a time. We'll select all the columns. After the task is created, we go into the Task Properties and set the initial mode to Modify. As in our previous task, if you have Allow Empty Data View on the Data tab, you will need to set it to Yes. Next, we need a way to call the Order Lines subtask. One way to do this is to put a push button on the form. Using a push button, we need an event and a handler for that event. We want to declare these in the parent task. We use the task tree to navigate to the parent task. We create the event by selecting Task User Events. We type in the event name, which we'll call Order Lines. We select a trigger type of None, since the event is being called directly from a push button. Then we go back to the form. We drop a push button on the form from the Controls palette. The Format property shows the text that will show on the button. We type in Order Lines. The Raise Event property sets the event that will be raised when the user pushes the button. We select the event we just created, Order Lines. Last, we need to handle the event. We go to the Logic tab. We press Ctrl-H to open up a header line. We select Event, then User Event, and select our Order Lines event. Now we have a logic unit that will execute when the user pushes the button. Inside that logic unit, we press F4 to open up a line. We select the call operation for a subtask and select the subtask we just created. Now, let's run it. When we run the program, we can press the Order Lines button and the subtask appears. But the order lines that appear are not necessarily the ones for the current order. We need to set the order number of the order lines to match the header, and also restrict the view so we only get order lines for this order. We go back to our Order Lines subtask. We want only the order lines where the order number matches that on the order header. So, we go into Order Number Properties and set the Range From and Range To properties to point to the order number in the header. Below this, you will see another property, init. Init will initialize new records to some expression. We use the same expression we entered for the range. Note that all three properties point to the same expression. Expressions are reusable, which saves us time while creating programs. Now, when we run it, You can see that each order line record is the same as the order header record. When we create new lines, they are initialized to the same order number as the parent. Now we can make the order lines look better. We can use a model for the fields here by holding down the Control key and selecting each one. Then we can zoom from the Model property and select the Table Edit Field Model. Fields wider by selecting the field, then dragging it. We can delete a column by selecting the field and pressing Delete. To select one column, we hold down the Alt key and click below the field. Then we can edit the column header. We can make the columns wider by holding down the Control key and moving the column. To select a table without selecting the fields on it, hold down the Control key and click on the lower part of the table. Then we can attach a model to the table too. Note how the table changes since it has inherited the table properties. Now let's run it again. You can see how the table has changed.